Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials on any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
Okay, guys, so today we're going to spend some time with Git and with GitHub, right? So we are going to understand what is Git, why do we need it, and how to work with Git. And then we're going to understand what is a GitHub and why do we need it and how to use it. So these are the things which we're going to understand today. Okay, yes, so my name is Rajesh Kumar and I'll help you for anything in terms of software engineering onboarding. So anything which you have a questions today, you can ask me and then we'll get started. So first question is why we are here. What are the problems we have in software engineering which we are trying to solve, right? What are the problems we are trying to solve? So we need to understand when we do the programming, we write so many codes, different kind of code. And when I say code, that means I'm talking about guys, my screen is visible to everyone, right? Because I some getting
Yes,
notification.
Rajesh. Yes.
Are you sure? Because it says it's not visible actually. Just a second. Yeah, is it visible to all of you? Suman?
It's visible, Rajesh.
Okay. Because this message is showing something else here.
They're
Okay, no
saying
problem.
yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So now what problem we are trying to solve here? So remember when we are in SDLC cycle, when we do software development, uh, we do write lots of code, correct? We do lots code. We do write lots of code in a different programming languages. Now when we say write a code, the in a simple way, any file, it can be any file like a C code, C++ code, Java code, PHP, Python, Perl, or MySQL. This is also code. MySQL is also code. So you write any code, okay, uh, and you write over the period of time, okay. And also we keep adding, modifying the code, adding the new code, delete the old code. These are the things we keep doing it, and not I do or you do alone, but we do as a team. We do as a team. So the problem what we have is over the period of time, if you modify the same source of code and you keep adding the new code or modifying the existing code or keep adding the old, deleting the old code, we would like to know who has modified in the past. Who has modified? Why? What has been modified? What code he has been adding or deleting or modifying? We want to know why this guy has modified this code. We would like to know where this modification is taking place and when it has been taken place. So these are the questions we would like to know: who, what, why, where, and when. And if you want to know these questions, who has modified, what has been modified, why it has been modified, where it is, when it got modified, that process of knowing the thing is called versioning. So basically you have to version the software, I mean code, whatever you write it, you need to version. That means whatever you write, the code, anyone write the code, same time it has to be labeled with some sort of data, so it can be versions. That means history of the changes should be version. That's called versioning. What is versioning? That's called versioning. Okay, so using this process you can come to know, okay, a file which has been modified, created, edited, deleted, and all this stuff like that. So now the question is, okay, I understood that we would like to know the history of changes done on the source code, and that we should do the versioning. So we should get to know many questions like who, what, why, when, where, but which tool we are going to use it, because there must be some tools, right, which will do the versioning, this which will help us to do the versioning, right? So we have so many tools. Actually, we have so many tools. In a 1972 plus, we have used SCCS. 1982 we have used RCS. 1986 till 1990s we had used CVS, and from 2000 we were using SPM. And all these are what I'm talking about is the open source tools, open source and free tools. When I say open source tool means someone has written these tools free of cost and shared with the communities, shared with the whole world. But there are few tools which is available. There are few tools which is available for the commercial part. I mean, you can buy their licenses and then you can use it. For example, Clearcase, Perforce, and few other tools are there. So like the TFS, like that. Okay, so here you see that which are the timeline of the evolution of the versioning tools. Again, good history about it. So you have to, we'll get to know SCCS, RCS, CVS, Perforce, Bitkeeper, and many more things. I think that's not so important, so you can refer these slides a little bit later also. But today I'm going to talk about Git. Yes, Git. So Git is again a versioning tool. Git will help you to version your source code. Yeah. So remember, there's a two tools we were talking about, Git and GitHub. Both are a separate tool. So I'm talking about now Git. So Git is born in 2005. Now, who has written a Git? So I'm sure you must be knowing about the who's the father of Linux. Who's the father of Linux? So Git has been written by the same person. His name is Linus Torvalds. Okay, and Linus Torvalds written a Git to replace the Bitkeeper to manage Linux kernel source code. That means at that time in 2005 and early, Linux source code they were storing in Bitkeeper, and there was some disagreement over the license. So Linus Torvald decided to write their own code. And the Git which we are learning right now is the same Git, which is written in 2005. So Git is popular. Git is popular. But why? Why Git is popular? Because before that we had also so many tools, right? We had SVN, we had a CVS, we had a Perforce, and many tools we had. But why Git is popular? So one of the feature what we have in the Git is distributed version control. This is the most important feature what we have in Git, which we were lacking in all other tools. Distributed version control. Again, it is open source and free. Now the question is, what is a distributed version control? We'll discuss about that in some time. Okay, but let me complete this slides at least. So yeah, Git is compatible with all operating system, including Linux and Windows. Now, Git is faster than other SCMs as well. Other SCMs means other versioning tool. Sometimes it's 100x also. So how come it is faster? The answer is hidden in distributed version control point actually. So we need to understand the distributed version control, and then we'll understand the rest of the things. So again, you can visualize that Git popularity by looking the statistics and metrics of GitHub. So in 2009 we had a 50,000 repository, over 1 lakh user, over 100,000 users. If you look at the 2011, we had a 2 millions of repository, over 1 millions of user. And if you look at the 2020, we have over 190 millions of repository, over 40 millions of users. You can just think of it. So how is Git is becoming popular? So yes, who can use Git? Of course, I said Git is meant for versioning the source code. Okay, meant for versioning the source code. So if you want to version any source code, you can use Git. Such as like a PHP file, Ruby and Rails, Java, action script. In short, in a simple way, if I say, if you can open up that file in a notepad easily or VI editor easily, and then you can read that, that means that's a file, that's a code. It can be written in any languages. That's not a problem. But there are few things which you cannot version. Let me tell you here. I'm saying you cannot version, still you can store it. For example, images. So images, movies file, musics, fonts. Basically, these are not a code actually. These are not code. You cannot read in a notepad. You cannot read in a text pad. Okay. In fact, spreadsheets like Word document, PDF is also not a file, text file, not a code. These are the non-text file. Yes, I repeat, Word document is also a non-text files. Consider it's a binary basically. Okay, so to open up that files, you need a MS Office. Without that, you cannot open up. So yes, you can store those files like images, movies, music, and everything, but versioning is not done. And this means if you modify one image and then after that you modify again same image after certain times, and if you think I want to see the compare between the two images and stuff like that, so that versioning you won't get it. Okay, you cannot differentiate between what was done earlier and stuff like that, but in case of text you can get it. So anyone who is doing the programming and development and wants to version their source code, you can use this programming language, I mean this tool. Okay, so now let's get into the point of understanding why Git is distributed. Correct, why Git is distributed whereas other tools are not distributed. So the answer is hidden in this image. Now, if you look at this, you have a repository. Okay, and Git is distributed, but the image which you are seeing here is centralized version control system. So what is a centralized version control system? So centralized version control system server, which is which I mean CVS, SVN, Perforce, ClearCase, the one tool which I talked about, it is based on centralized version control system. And if you see that, you have a server which manages the repository. And if you want to work with repository for managing your source code, you have to work from the working copy. So now let me a little bit elaborate in my own way, and probably it will be easier for you to understand. So now if you want to understand here, I'm talking about the server and client based architecture. Server and client based architecture, that means the one which is CVS, SVN, Perforce, ClearCase and all, not Git. Okay, so what we do, We have one server. Okay, this is the server. Very simple concept. You can consider this is a server, and in the server we have one repository. Okay, this is the repository. Now in the repository you have two kind of area. One is the file which you store it, okay, and one is metadata. The file which you version, that's a file, and metadata. Now what is this metadata? Metadata is itself is the metadata, you can say a database also, which contain all the information about who has modified, why that code has been modified, and all stuff like that, and when it was modified. All these questions it contains in metadata. Now this files and database metadata is been managed by one software which is called server. Okay, this is software. Let me change the color. Which one I should keep it? So this repository is managed by a software that is called server. Okay, this server you can have from CVS, SVN, Perforce, TFS, and many more. Okay, so this is the server you have. Now if you want to access this server, let's say this is my workstation, my laptop, and this is someone else workstation, someone else laptop. So what we need to do is we need to install client here. Client is one simple software which can connect it to this server through the IP address. This is the network. Okay, this is the network, and then work with it. So here understand that client. So basically anything which you want to do, like adding, editing, or updating, or deleting, anything you want to do, you client, you modify the code in the local, okay, and then add, edit, commit in the server. So that way we work only in the one repository, and this model we call it server and client model. So here the many tools which we have discussed, which include like CVS, SVN, Perforce, ClearCase, and so on, not Git, is based on this model. That means in these tools you have a server, and you will be able to access using client, and anything you want to do you have to do in the server itself. Anything means adding, editing, deleting, branching, merging, viewing, anything, you need a network connection through server. Okay, is that clear for everyone? This is called server and client model. Okay, now yeah, so now we should discuss about what is the distributed model, right? In the distributed model, how this, because Git is based on the distributed, right? So how Git is distributed? So in the Git, basically what we have is Git, we don't have a server. Yeah, look at this here. Here we had Git server, and server manage the repository, but and then people connect from the different locations here and here. But in Git we don't have a server. So Git we have, everyone has a repository. So this is Rajesh, this is Bittu, this is Mantosh, this is the Mantosh laptop, and this is Shivam. So if I want, this is mine, okay, if I want to version my source code in my laptop, I will have my own repository. See here, there is no server here. I will have my own repository. It's the same repository which we had here, repository. Now Mantosh wants to do the versioning, he will have a same repository, his own repository. So in this concept, you see that everyone who wants to do the versioning, he will work against their own repository. So this is me. I will work on my own repository for versioning. This is someone else. This is someone else. So you will work against your own repository. So now in this case, there is no server here. This is also like a local repository. 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 I am working not in remote repository. I am working not in a server repository, but I am working in my own repository. So this model is become a distributed model. That means everyone work and do the versioning on the same his own repository, not in other repository. Now, if you look at this, you are accessing local. So that's the reason it's 100x faster. So this model, we call it distributed model. Means there is no point of failure. Here, what happens if this server has a problem, then everyone will not be able to add, edit, delete, view, branching, merging. But because of distributed model, because I'm working in my local repository, which is in my laptop itself, I can do without any problem. And this is local, so that's the reason it's 100x faster than the network repository. So now, did you understand what is a distributed model, all of you? Okay, so there are few commands. There are few questions are there, which I should take it up. So once has a question, how to initialize the repository in Git? Yeah, I'll come back to this just in few seconds. There's one more question is, what is commit message? What is a commit command executed? Next question is, what is the process to revert a commit that has already been pushed and made public? Another commit and another command. What are the bare repository different from the standard way of initializing the Git repository? Other question is like, how can we discover if a branch has already been merged or not? Did you copy this question somewhere from some website? Once, what are the benefit of using version? Yeah, so many questions are there. I think most of the questions you get an answer automatically. Okay, is part of the session. Okay, so I think you have copied many questions from that site, I guess. Satvik Verma, how it is ensured that changes are going on in actual repository on Git? I will discuss this one, Satvik. Okay, so now what we have discussed so far, is, just a second. What we have discussed so far is like, what is Git? Why do we need it? What is Git? Why do we need it? And how Git work? How Git is useful in terms of distributed and stuff like that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to teach you one thing. Okay, there's one question which I should answer right away, and many people are asking, what is repository? Yeah, repository, right? What is repository? So a repository is basically a concept. Repository is basically concept. You can assume as if it's like a placeholder where you can keep your code. Okay, keep a code. So if you look at this, okay, I can keep a code anywhere, but why do we call it repository? So in repository, we have a versioned also. So if you see here, this part, this is the repository. This is the file which which is being stored, files and directories which is being stored. But in the repository, it will also contain the metadata of what has been modified over the period of time. when it was modified, who modified, and all this meta information will contain in the repository. And that thing, anything where you have a certain files and directories and also metadata, which includes the history of those changes done in the repository, that directory, the placeholder is called repository. Okay, so you'd hear this concept everywhere. Whenever you go to the versioning concept of files or file system, you will see the concept repository. So instead of calling a placeholder or maybe some location, we call it a repo. Repo will contain both the files and then also history of files, which is, we call it a metadata. Okay, is that answer your questions? Okay, so let me read few more questions. Yeah, so Akshit will just talk about it. Yeah, Anjali, we will get this answer. Okay, so now guys, after understanding that what is Git and basically what we can do with the Git, now let's get started working with Git. Okay, let's get started working, because once we started working, we'll understand many things, many answers, many questions which we have asked will be unfolded during the demo itself. Okay, during the demo. So I'm directly jumping to the demo and we'll get started. So here, if I ask myself first time how to get started with Git, how to get started with Git. When I say how to get started, basically you should have this question in a simple, how to do versioning. Okay, how to do versioning of files, code using Git. This is the right questions. How to do versioning, okay, of files on code using Git. So if you remember in this session, in this pictures, I talked about it. If you want to version your files, you have to have a repository. Everyone has to have a repository. Everyone has to create a repository, correct? So we will get started. So I'll put it up in the steps so you'll understand that. Step number 1, install Git in laptop. Okay, it's a one-time activity. How do we install? That is a question. We'll come back to that. Step number 2, create a repo. Create a repo. Okay, how do we create that repo? We'll come back to this. Step number 3, write a code. Now, we know that part very well. How do we write a code? You might have written a Java code, .NET code, C code, C++ code, write a code. Step number 4, version a code. Version a code using adding a code, adding a file to Git repo. This is a step number 4. So here we wrote the code. Then we want to the version the code using adding a files to the Git repo. Step number 5, commit a code.
To watch our complete session, enroll for our premium membership. Click onto the join button and enroll yourself with the best suited option.
Repo. Now I'm getting little confused here. When I say adding a files in to Git repo, a commit, a code or files in Git repo, what is that? What is the commit? What is adding? We will discuss that in some time. Finally, after committing, step number 6, view our logs of last commit. Okay, so we'll have a step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6. So using this step 6, 1 to 6, we can do the versioning of files and code using Git. But how to do that, we will understand that. Okay. So first question is, how do we install the Git in laptop? So simple, you have to go to git-scm.com. Okay, if you browse the website, here you see that you can download for Windows, Mac, or Linux. Okay, so any software, any operating system which you want to download, you can get it downloaded. Now let me tell you here, guys, how to install a exe. I think you know that, so I don't think I am going to spend a time. Okay, how to install exe, how to download and install, next, finish, done. So if you want to install in Windows, you can use the exe file to install it. But if you're in Linux, and let's say specifically if you are in Ubuntu, you can run the command which is called apt-get install git. Done. And if you are on CentOS or RHEL, yum install git and done. So how do you install? Again, you have a commands in Linux, you have exes on Windows, and get installed. So now guys, here, when you install through Windows, the Git, you will get two things. You get command line, Git over command line, and you will get Git over Git bash. Okay, command line means, see here, this is the command line. This is the command line. And Git is installed, you see, installed. In my laptop, it is installed, so it's showing. So that's the command line, CMD. But Git bash, what is the Git bash? So guys, I am going to use a Git bash. You will be asking why? Because I love it. Why? Because I like the colors combinations here better than command line. But there's one more advantage of Git bash. You see, it says bash. So I assume you understand that what is a bash. It's a shell of Linux, right? So basically, using Git bash, not only you can run all of your Git command, please hear me out. Using the Git bash, not only you can run all the Git command, but also basic Linux command as well. So I have installed already, so I'm going to show you. Look at my screen. This is the Git bash. See, so where I am, see, clear the screen. So I like these colors and all, view and all, and apart from that, I can run basics Linux command. And I'm more towards the Linux command than Windows command. But let me tell you here, Git command will remain same in Linux and Windows. It's just like if you want to enjoy Linux command in Windows, you can use git bash. That's all. So here you have git bash. Okay, so the question was how to install git. I think we got answers for it. You go to try it out offline, and you can work with a command line or git bash, anything is okay. Okay, now let's say some of you wants to work with a GUI, not a command line. So if you want to work with a GUI, then you can use many tools. One of the tools which I recommend is source tree. Okay, but if you are looking for something better, then you can use visual code with git plugin. So that also you can use it. Visual code with git plugin. So today's demo I'm going to show you in the git bash, but no matter whether what you are using, CMD or source tree or any other tools, the behavior will be same. So that is called step one. Now next question is, how do we create a repo? Our same repo, where do we store the files and their meta information? So everyone has to create their own repo, right? You see, everyone has to create their own repo. Why need a repo? Because we want to version our files, our code. Okay, so can we go ahead and create a repo? So guys, I will go to some empty location. Don't open up a git bash or git command line and start firing up a command of git. Don't do that, because you are where? User home. So go to some empty locations. Let's say I am going to E drive. I'm creating one directory, git, where I am right now, E drive. Shall I go to the git? Here it is. Where I am, git. Can I explore it? Here it is. Look at this. You are in an empty directory, git. Okay, so now can I do one thing? Can I create one more directory? First repo. So I am creating one directory called first. Can I go inside it? First. Where I am? E git first. Now, because I'm in the empty directory, can I go ahead and create a repo? Yes. What is the command for it? Init command. So if you want to create an empty repository, git init. Please read this very carefully. Initialize empty git repository in. Look at this. Read that path, actually very special path. .git. So that's your repository, .git. Many of you will not be able to see that because you have to enable hidden folders and directories view. I have enabled. You can enable also using a view, options, change, view, here, show hidden files and folders. So this is the .git. That's your repository. Yeah, that's your repository. Okay, so how do we create a repository? Git init. Very simple. Git init is the way to create a repository. I just did it. Okay, now step number 2 is also done. Now we have to write a code. Step number 3. So how do you write a code? Now you know that, all of you know that, correct? So let me do some faking program. I want to become a fake programmer now. So I'm writing a code here, file 1.java. And let me write file 2.c or any files. I mean, remember the concept of file code is same. You understand that. File2.java. Okay. And in this file, I'll write a few lines of code. And here, this is my code line number 1. This is code line number 2. This is code line number 3. Remember, 3 lines of code I'm having in this file. And in this, line number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 line numbers of code I'm having in this file. So I wrote a code. I have a code right now, and this is done. So guys, I installed the Git, created an empty repository, started writing a code. And now I am going to add a files to Git repo. How do we do that? Okay, so command for it is git add. Okay, and file name. Okay, git add file name. So it will add a files to repo. So can we do that? So clear the screen. ls, you have 2 files. You can see that file1.java I have wrote in front of you, file2.java. There's a 2 code I want to version now. I want to version because after this I will modify something else. So before that I want to version now. So what I'm going to do, git add file1.java. Okay, I did this, add it. After that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to commit our files to repo. How do we commit? How do we commit? So for that, command is git commit. Give the message why you want to commit, first commit, and that's all. This is the way commit. But I'm not able to understand what is the add, what is a commit, what exactly is doing. I'm having question in my mind. What we are doing, what are the difference between add and commit, and why we are doing it? That confusion I'm having it, but still I'm doing it. Committed. I committed. Can you please read this line only? Remember the file 1, I had 3 lines of code. I hope you remember. So it says 3 insertions. So Git is beautiful. They detect my changes line by line. Right? But anyways, I committed. But you know, one thing I missed it. In this whole flow, look at this here. Step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, step number 4, step number 5. I have not mentioned who am I, what is my name, how this I committed a code, but how this Git will come to know who am I? Who am I? Who are you? So when you commit very first time, commit means commit to the repository. You'll be asked, who are you? Tell me your name. Let me remind you here, you are committing in the local repository only. The repository which is local, you're committing in the local repository only, but you'll be asked, who are you? Because there's no password required because you are working in the local repository. So you have to tell somehow, who are you? I did not tell. Why? Because in my system, those settings has been done already. But in your system, you have to do that one-time activity. What is that? Git config user.name Rajesh Kumar. Git config user.email rajesh@devopsschool.com. So this you have to tell at least once you have to set this information, and Git will come to know who are you. It's a one-time activity, guys. You have to tell. So if I say here, I'm rerunning this command, no problem. Clear the screen. So you should do before commit, okay? In my system, it has already set. So it did not prompt me, who are you? But it will prompt you, who are you? And I set my name and everything. And you see your last email. This is the different information. Somewhere it should be. See here, look at this. Rajesh Kumar and Rajesh at the rate of DevOps School. Now here also you have it, because there are multiple places you can set it up. So I have in my system multiple places. So that's the reason it's displaying. The last one will be effective. Okay, so it's a one-time activity and you are informing Git, who are you? You are Rajesh Kumar and your email address is here. Because you are working in the local, no password is required for it. But still I have a question in my mind. And the question is, what is add? What is a commit? Why we add to the repo and why do we commit to the repo? Why we are not doing it in one go? So now guys, we need to understand this behavior very well, because this is a very important behavior. But if you would like to know, okay, how do we work with Git? How do we version this code? So create a repo, write a code, add it, commit, and you want to see that commit? Let me show you here. I'll discuss a little bit more about it little later. Git log, see here, I have one commit. Now, what is this? We'll discuss about in some time, but at a high level, understand that. Who are you? So first commit, remember first commit I did not using this. First commit I did with a system setups. So why you committed this file? It was my first commit. When you committed, who are you? Where is the source code? And what is committed? Where and what? So this ID you have to use commit ID. I'll discuss about it. And you see, this is my code. And it's there in the root location. Make sense, guys, all of you? So did you understand that, all of you? Any questions? Okay, so Abhishek is asking a question. So during the setup, which editor shall we select? You can use any editor, that's not a problem here. Whichever you like. Okay. Yeah, we will repeat multiple times today. We will do that. Okay. So now let's understand one important thing. What we are doing, basically adding and committing. So guys, can you put it in the comment box? Are you ready for it? Are you ready for it? Okay, so there's one question from Dr. Raghavendra. How repository is different from data stored in the cloud? So, sir, repository is a conceptual thing. Now, this repository you can create in a local, and same repository you can create in the over the some provider, some platform over the cloud. Let's say AWS or Google Cloud or Azure or GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket. So these repository you can create, but the important thing is what it contains, and which I think I have answered to you. It contains the files which you want to store inside it, and the same time I want to store the versioning metadata also, versioning database also. So together it contains. So yeah, that's the thing. I'm reading the chat window right now. There's one question from Gajanan. Can we only see last commit log or all commit log? So we can see all commit log, or we can filter few commit log, depends on our wish list. So there are commands for it. I'm just showing you the global command. If you add a more parameter to it, -n1, it'll show you one commit, -n5, and by author, by filter, many filters are there, which you can use it to the log command to see that which one you want. I'm not showing you too much complex options, but the one at the high level. So yes, you can do that. It is possible. Let me read some Q&A from Q&A section. I think we have a chat and Q&A, both options we have available. So Abhishek, sir, please show setup. I am facing difficulties in it. No problem. We'll do that, Abhishek, multiple times. Okay. Okay. So the question I'm having in my mind, I need to get an answer for it. And the question is, I'm unable to understand what is git add to git repo. What is git commit in repo? What exactly I'm talking about? So if you really want to understand what add is doing and what commit is doing, let's understand in this way. So I need one paint. So look at my screen, guys. Here, this is the repository. Look at my screen, git first. Okay. So assume this is my repository. And this one is git first. I'm giving you I'm using the real time, the one which I'm having right now. Okay. This is my repository location. Now I would divide this into two parts. Okay, two parts. Here. What is this part? And what is this part? So this part will be same. Okay. But this part, look at my screen, all of you. This part will be a repository. Okay. So I'm the person who's writing a code, right? So I will write a code where? Look at my screen. This is me. I will write a code here. Okay. See here, git first. I'm writing a code here. This is my code, file 1, file 2. Now, from here, I am adding and committing to repo. Look at this here. That means one thing for sure is like we are adding and committing to repo. That means which area? This area. Okay, I hope so far so clear. So if I see that adding and committing to repo, that means this area is divided into two part. Okay, again two part. Okay, so now this is during add and this is during commit. So now if I see that there are three areas, look at very carefully. This is the area where we write a code. This is my code. Different lines of code I write. Look at my screen. You write a code here. Now you send this code to this place. How do you send this code? This is called adding process. And this code, which the code you have here, understand that guys, very simple concept. The code you have here, you send this to the repo location, which is called here. So what we call it, you know, this one, this process we call it staging. Okay, staging. And this process we call it repo. Yeah, so actually repo is basically this one, commit. This process we call it staging. Please understand that one more time. We write a code in this area, we call it working directory. The place where we work. The place where we work, it's called working directory. After that, once we work on the file and complete the file, we do git add. So that file is here, but the file will come here also. And after that, we do the commit. The file will get moved to repository. And this is a final place. So now if you keep doing it, guys, look at my screen. First commit, v1, version 1. v2, second commit, version 2. v3, v4. So look at this, where the version is getting stored in the repo area. So now you must be wondering, okay, fine. I write a code here and I store the version here. So why do we have this mid path staging area? Staging means staging. Remember here, please hear me out clearly. In the repository, you store the files permanently. You store the version of file permanently. But before storing the file, you want to review it, because here we have so many files and directory and folder. You may have so many directory and folder, but which one you modify? You completed this code and you want to send it to the staging area. You want to review it, and then if you are sure about it, then you want to commit it. So I'll always work in your working directory, 1 file, 2 file, 30 file, 40 file, 100 files. Whichever you want to modify the files, here you working directory, you modify the files and only add to staging the one which you want to send and commit. So you add to staging one file or multiple files and review this file. Do you really want to version this file? And if you want to version this file, commit, and it will go and sit in the repository. So this part is divided into two parts. Okay, staging and repo. Now,
To watch our complete session, enroll for our premium membership. Click onto the join button and enroll yourself with the best suited option.
What is staging and what is repo? I will not confuse you too much getting inside this place. This is the place you have two areas, staging and repo. I'm not complicating it, but the flow, did you understand that now, all of you? What happens when you do the git add? What happens when you do the commit? Git add means it goes to the staging area. Git commit means from the staging area, it goes to the repository. I would like to show you one image and which will clear your confusion. And this is called Git workflow. All of you are clear? Okay. Can you please confirm in the chat box? Great. So guys, now we understood how do we do the versioning. So look at my screen. All first step, I install the Git, created a repo, write a code, add it, commit, and view it. Now, how do I know which code you have? Look at my screen, all of you. How do I know which code I have in the working directory? Again, look at this here, working directory or staging or repo. So magical command which is there is called git status. See here. Right now I have a 2 file. Understand that flow. I have 2 file in my working directory. I repeat, I have 2 file in my working directory, file 1, file 2. But here, when I run this git status, it is talking only about the file 2. Why? Because I have sent this file to repo. So Git is not reporting saying that. Whatever the changes you have in this file, you have already versioned it. So Git status will show you the files which is not versioned at. I repeat, Git status will show you the files which is not versioned at. So in this case, file 2 is not versioned at. Now, where is this file? Where is that? It's in working directory or staging area also, or where is it? So if you see here, read this untracked file. So Git is reporting for this file is untracked file. That means this file is not in a Git area at all. This is a Git area, remember? So Git is not able to track this file. So that file is still in working directory. So let me show you. Let me create a few fake file here. Touch file 3.txt. It's a Linux command to create a fake file. Okay, so here I created, see here, 3 files now. Now if I run the git status, see here, it's not reporting the first one because that we have versioned already. So why to report that? So now how many files we have in the working directory? 2 files. Now, can I send this file, one file, file2.java to the staging area? Now look at this. I added. See here. This file is still in working directory. This file has moved to staging area. Why? Because now Git is detecting and they're suggesting, hey, I found out this file need to be changed. I mean, commit. And if you think, okay, you want to unstage means revert back. If the file is here, you want to send back to here. You don't want this file here. Unstaging means anything which you send it unstage. So for that, you have to run this command. So it's a new file. Again, it's a new file for a whole repository. That's the reason it's reporting the new file. So right now this file is staging. This file is in working directory. Now can I modify the file1.java? Remember the file1.java has been versioned already. It's showing nowhere. But if I modify one more time, look at my screen. I'm modifying one more time. Some added some fake code. And now if I see here, look at this difference. So this file is in working directory. Git is not able to track. The file which is here, file2.java, is in staging area. Git is able to track and this need to be committed. But when I modify the file, versioned file, remember here, when I modify the versioned file, then I get a report saying that, hey, Git is knowing about this file. Git is able to track this file. It's in the repository. But the new changes, which is not there in the staging area. See here, changes. It's not a file need to be staged. Change is not staged for the commit. Means any changes you have to do it through add and commit process. So you cannot ignore this command flow workflow. You cannot ignore. That means any code which is new code or new files or existing files or something like that, you have to add, you have to commit. It's a fact. Because see here, file1.txt was there already, but still it's saying the changes has not gone. That means it tracked the line by line. So you need to stage it. How do we stage it? I think you know that very well. So clear the screen, git add, one by one. I am not going to do that. This is so much of work. So dot everything, or file name I told you last time, but dot. And look at this, all the changes now I have sent to the staging. All these in staging. Okay. And now review this file. Are you sure you want to send to the repository? See, these all files are here. Still, you will be having here also, but you will get here also. But if you want to send to the repository and create one versions of it, you have to commit it. So you can do the full commit, git commit -m, adding all. This is a full commit. You can do that. And all the files, I repeat, all the files which is in staging will be committed, but I don't want everyone. I just want full commit adding file 1. So you have to specify the file name. Okay, like this. I committed. You see here, file1.java again I committed. One file got changed, and here 2 insertions has happened and 1 deletion. Maybe I might have inserted some line, so it's assumed that is a new line or something like that. And you see your git status. So what is the job of git? So guys, understand the conceptually, git basically track what files you modify here, what you have here, and what you have here, and the ultimate purpose to get the files version here. So git will keep reporting, okay, which files you have not committed, please keep committing it. And if it is committed, git will not say anything. So this is how the git versioning is working. Are you understanding, all of you? Do let me know in chat box if you have understood or if you have still question. So Satvik, we always modify the commit and modify the files in the working directory. Remember, it's a flow is very clear. Modify the files in the working directory, send to the staging area for the review, and after that you commit whichever you feel like you want to commit. Okay. And there's one question is like, why there is a add, why not directly to go to commit? So that way, because in the working directory you have thousands of files, you want to review before committing. But blindly, if you commit everything in from the working directory to repo, there the versioning history will be messed up, right? You want to have a particular, you want to choose particular which files you want to commit and which files you don't want to commit. So staging area is something like a kind of review place where you can decide which one need to commit, which need not to commit, which need to be going and which need not to be going, like that. Yeah. So now there is one question is, what is commit? That's we need to understand. What is a commit? So let's understand this question. So guys, here by now I have done 2 or 3 commits. I need to check, right? See here. Okay. So this is the 2 commit we have right now. Now, what is this? What is this? So guys, understand this way. Git If you use the SVN or CVS or Pofos or clear case and all, then you will get a version number. Yeah, version number like 1, 2, 3, 4. Every commit you will be sequenced and incremented by 1 in those tools. But here you won't get a version number. Yes. Here you won't get a version number. So what we get it? So every commit, understand that every commit you do, I said commit, remember last one here. So every commit you do, that all files, all changes, when I say changes, all the files go to repo and identified by 40 character hash value. Now, you know what? I'm just trying to keep it here simple, but if you really want to understand how it works and all, you need to explore the algorithm called SHA-1 algorithm. Okay. But right now, because I don't want to complicate, I don't want to get into that mode, because that objective is not to confuse you too much, but rather than start using it. And then later on, once you find, okay, I want to know internals of Git, I want to know the architecture of Git and all, then you can get into that. So here, whatever the commit you do, every commit you do, everything, whatever you commit as part of the commit message, go to the repo, and that commit is identified by 40 character hash value. The same hash value is this one. You know one thing, this is universal unique. Yes, I said unique universally. What is this? You can call it commit ID. That's okay. You can call it checksum. Anything what you want to call it. Who's creating it? By SHA-1 algorithm. So if you want to understand that, see here, look at my screen, all of you. So Git status, I still have few files in staging area, so I am going to commit all. Git all, I committed. Now you see here, guys, look at my screen. Git status. Right now I have nothing in my working directory. When I say nothing means what? It's not like no files. I have still files, but all the files has been committed to the repository. That means all the versioning has been stored. No need to fear. Okay. So I was talking about how do I know which are the things I did? So right now, git log. This is the first commit, second commit, third commit. Look at my screen, all of you, very carefully. So I want to know, okay, can I go back to this page? Or can I go back to this page? Or can I go back to this page? This page, anyways, I am there, right? I am right now on this. Head is on this page. You see, working directory, all these 3 files. So let me show you this image, guys. Look at my screen and very carefully think about it. It's not very difficult to visualize that. You know what I'm doing? You know what I'm doing? I am modifying the files, adding, committing, version 1. I'm modifying the files in the working directory, adding, committing, version 2. I'm modifying the files here, adding, committing, and all these versions getting created. But is there any way I can go revert back? The revert back means I want this file in here, or I want this file in here, because you want to see the history, right? You want to work with it. It's not about only taking the history. You want to go and work with it, right? Sometime you want to go back and see that what changes were there earlier and what changes we have now. Correct? So how do we do that? So look at my screen, guys. If you want to go back to the first version, this is the one. So what do you need to do? Git checkout, reverse way, opposite way, paste. And now if you see here, look at this. Here it is. This was my first commit when I made it. Revert way. I did this reverse way. So instead of left to right, I'm following that, getting the version in my workspace here, the older one. Can I go to the last one again? You got the last one. Can I go to the second one? Here, and clear the screen. Look at this. This was the second one. Can I see here? Adding a file one. First commit. Git checkout master last one. You got this one. So guys, this is the way you can get back also. It's not like you have to do the version, get back also. So now you have understood. Now remember that first slides, go to the first slides. Who, what, why, where, when. Let's find out. Git log, git show, insert. Look at my screen. Who has committed? Rajesh Kumar. When it was committed. Why this commit has happened? What is the commit all about? Where is this commit? Root location. So everything you have, guys, and you work this way or see the history this way. It's up to you. So now, did you understand, all of you? How do we commit? All of you? Okay, so guys, there is a problem here. There is a problem. All of you, please understand this. So see, hear me out very carefully. Every time you want to commit, I mean, version your source code in your laptop, you will do that. All this flow you will follow. But the problem here is all the time, all along, I was working in my local repo. And this repo, which is, I put it up in this way. Okay. So all the time I was working on my local repo. But the question is, how do we share with other people my code? See, it's like this. In a team, we have 20 people, right? You may have 20 people. And I want to get your code. I want to share my code with you. I want to share my code with 20 other people. I want to get the code off from 20 other people. Are you understanding the problem in this Git model? Git is distributed. That means you are working against your repository, but how do we share it? Did you understand all the problem? Next problem, what you have in this concept? How do we share it? I'm okay. I'm happy. I'm versioning my files. Everyone is also doing the versioning their files their own the same way. But how do we share that problem? How do we share the code with each other? So this problem we are trying to solve now. We are going to solve this problem now. So some of you have asked these questions already in the past, but this problem we are going to solve now. The problem is very simple. I've been doing the versioning of my source code, but this version of the source code I want to share with the whole world, all of my team, and also I want to get Hitch code also in my laptop versions of their code. I want to have in my laptop. So that is the problem which I'm going to show you. But before that, I think we have one test. So let me just go on for mute for a few seconds. And yeah, so I think guys, this is the test time. We have a test right now for 10 to 12 minutes, I believe. So I think Sumant, who's coordinating this program, he's going to take control of my screen. I mean, and I'm going to unshare my things. So be with us, and you have a test for next 12 minutes and complete the text. And then after that, I'm going to solve the problem. How can we share the code with each other? Okay, so we'll do that. Go ahead, Sumant.
Thanks, Rajesh. Hi, everyone. This is the small quiz we are conducting. It's kind of a break time for you guys. We will ask you 10 questions. I will just share my screen and I will give you an instruction. Please see the instruction. You need to complete the first 3 steps. First, open a tab called www.kahoot.it, either from your laptop or from your mobile. It will ask for a PIN. Just enter 6031799, which is mentioned in step 2. Post that, it will ask for a nickname. Request you to please enter your full name while you're registering whatever the name you have given. Your first name and last name. And wait for step 4. This is how your device will show. Only the icons you will see. Once we display the questions, you need to answer. I'll repeat the instructions. Either from your mobile or a laptop, open a www.kahoot.it. Once you enter that, it will ask for a PIN. Please enter a PIN 6031799, which is mentioned in the screen. Then it will ask for a nickname. Please enter your first name and last name as per your registration name. Then wait for step 4, where this is how you will get in your display the option. Come on, guys, we have 129 attendees here and only 43 people have entered the quiz. Top 3 winners will get a branded goodies from GitHub. So we will dispatch it as soon as possible. The questions is related to GitHub products only. So we will ask basic questions. Now it is 3:36. We will start the quiz at 3:40 sharp. We will ask 10 questions and each questions we will give 30 seconds to answer. Open kahoot.it in your mobile or laptop. The PIN is 6031799. And mention your full name as per your registration name. Once we start asking the questions, then you will get option like which is mentioned in step 4. If you're not able to write your full name, just mention your first name, not a problem. Or like if your name is Sumant Krishna Bandari, then just mention Sumant Bandari only. Only first name and last name is required. We have 70 people only joined the quiz. Come on, guys, this is just for a fun. We are conducting this quiz and we are giving 4 options as well. You need to choose out of 4.
Okay, so let's learn. So now the problem here we have is how do we share our code with each other? That's the problem which we have. Okay, that is a problem which we are going to discuss now. So let's discuss. So guys, here we have, let's say this is my repo. Okay, this is my repo. I'm saying repo. When I say repo means understand that. When I say repo means this one I'm talking about. Okay. Okay, this repo. And we have, let's say Mantosh repo. Okay. This is, we have Mantosh repo. Here we have Bit2 repo. And here we have Shivam repo. So now I want to send my version. Remember, again, I'm reminding you all is like when I say repo means I'm talking about this version. Okay, this one. So I want to send my versions of changes from my repo to this. Okay. Or someone wants, let's say Mantosh want to get from me. Get from me. So how can we do that? So basically what is happening here is Git allows you to talk to any remote repo. Yes, please hear me out very carefully. Here Git allows you to talk to any remote repo. So for me, this is mine, okay? For me, Mantosh, Shivam, Bit2s is remote repos, correct? So I can talk to their repos using the protocol which is called HTTPS. Okay, HTTP protocol or SSH protocol. Okay, these are the 2 protocol. Using that you can talk to any remote repo. Git allows you to all to do that. So if I want to send, if Rajesh wants to send their commits, their changes to Shivam one, so I will do this process. We call it a push. Okay, this process we call it a push. But let's say Mantosh wants to get from my repo, then this process is called pull. Okay, very simple concept, push and pull. So basically here, what we are doing, we keep doing the push and pull. If you want, if I want someone else code, then I will pull it. If I want to get someone else, I want to give my code to someone else, I do the push. So we keep doing the push and pull, push and pull, push and pull, and Git allows it actually through SSH and through HTTP. So if you have SSH, basically the IP address of a remote machine and then user ID and password with path of the repo, and HTTP means if that repository is hosted at with the web server like Apache or Nginx or something.
To watch our complete session, enroll for our premium membership. Click onto the join button and enroll yourself with the best suited option.
Nginx or something like that. Are you understanding this concept, guys? What Git allows it? All of you, can you please keep it in the chat box? Okay, so there's one question from Amit. My answer not get. Okay, I missed your question even I select the first few seconds. Okay. Okay, so Git allows you to push and pull any remote repo. I repeat, any remote repo using the true protocol SSH and HTTP. Okay, that is what it happens. But this way, guys, we are going to create a mess. Think about it. Here in this session, look at it. We have 110 people right now. And let's say we all belong to one team, one project. And if you all started talking to each other, then it'll be definitely mess. Because let's say if you have a 100 people in the team, I need to talk to 99 people. That means I need to do the push and pull to the 99 people. Correct? This is like a too much of work. So I am not going to spend time. I'm not spending good amount of time during the code of the coding. I'm not going to spend time with the coding, but I'm going to spend time with the integration. Integration means, okay, what is your code? Give me that. What is my code? Take me from this. We are going to spend whole day on for the same thing. So this is going to create a mess here, definitely. So what do we do in this case? So guys, then what happened? We four of us, like Rajesh, Bittu, Mantosh, and Shivam, we decided let's not talk to each other. Let's not talk to each other because that will definitely create a mess. Let's do one thing. Let's create one more repo. Look at conceptually, understand that, guys. Let's create one more mesh. Let's create one more repo. So let me create a new image. Yeah. So here, this is Rajesh. This is Mantosh. This is Bittu. This is Shiva. So here, what we are doing right now is we together took a call saying that, okay, let's do one thing. Let's create one more repo. But this time, this machine where we are creating this repo will be owned by a team, a project. Yes, this is my laptop. This is my laptop. This is my laptop. This is my laptop. But this repo, the one which I'm creating here, okay, will be owned by some location which is owned by entire team at certain point. I repeat, this is not a server. This is not a server. This is another remote repo. This is just another remote repo. Like I have, like we all will have it. So now what we are doing, basically, instead of talking to each other, we are doing the push to remote repo and pull from remote repo. Everyone is doing the same thing. Everyone is doing the same thing. Okay. Everyone is doing the same thing. So this model is for time being. But over the period of what has happened, over the period of time, what has happened, many of you started asking, hey, over the remote repo, because it's very difficult to visualize the changes at the remote repo, I need GUI, graphical user interface, some sort of UI or browser or something like that. Better UI. Then Linus Torvald, he's the founder of, he's the father of Linux and Git both. He said, no, we don't have a plan to develop a dedicated UI for remote repo. We don't have a time for that. We are very busy in doing a coding for the kernel. Are you understanding, guys, my point? We have a demands actually from the user group saying that I need a GUI. Linus said no. Then some of you say, okay, we have a ticketing solutions like issue tracking tool. I want that feature also on top of it because it's become a tool for the collaboration. It's become a tool for the team. So can't we have that features over there? And Linus said, no, it's not possible. We don't have a time for it. Then again, few people said, hey, can we have a wiki at the same place? Wiki means what? See guys, every organization, we have their own knowledge archiving platform where that project knowledge can be shared. It's like a wiki for the public, right? Everyone. But we have a personal wiki also for the project related knowledge information sharing, documents, some sort of knowledge architecture and all stuff like that. So can we have it because it's a kind of team place? So can we have a wiki? And Linux said no, not possible. Then managers came, managers, CTO, architect, enterprise architect, and all senior people of the organization came and say, hey, I am not very comfortable managing multiple remote repo. Can we do one thing? Can we have one place where we have all the remote repo we can manage at one place? Multiple remote repo we can manage at one place. Then Linux said, no, we don't have a plan and we don't have a time also. Then many security guys have come from the security perspective. And they said, hey, I want to control the access. That means role-based control access. Someone should be admin. Someone should be having write access. Someone should be having only read access. You can give access to all this repo, or you can give access to only one repo. I want that feature. And Linus said, no, we don't have a problem. We don't have it. So what I'm trying to say, guys, understand that Git has a problem. What problem? No UI, no issue in remote. Okay, no issue tracking, issue management tool, no wiki, no ability to manage multiple repos, no RBAC. RBAC means role-based access control. That means I will give you write access, I'll give you read access. All these problems we have with the Git in remote machine. So guys, are you understanding this problem? All of you, can you please confirm me in the chat box if you have understood the problem for the organization, for the team working together at one place? Right? So in short, one more time, I'll repeat. We want to collaborate all the codes. This is Rajesh, this is Bittu, this is Mantosh, all the code, but we cannot talk to each other. So we created remote repo. This is a remote repo or central repo, whatever you want to call it. Do not call it server, okay? Because it's not a server at all. It's just another repo. We created and start doing the pull and push against the central repo. It was okay. But then team has started coming up with a multiple requirements saying that, hey, I need a GUI, I need an issue management tool at the same place, I need a wiki, I need a place where we can manage the multiple repo, I need a role-based access control. And Linus Torvalds said, no, I have no plan to add it. You know, guys, when there is a problem, there will be solutions. You know, that is where GitHub has come. GitLab has come. Bitbucket has come. Gerrit has come. AWS repo has come. Google repo has come. Azure repo has come. They say no problem. These are the major vendors in this category. They say no problem. If you are not getting all these features from the Git, I will provide it. I will provide you nice UI. I will provide you issue management capability. I will provide the wiki. I will provide a platform where you can manage multiple repo. And I will provide the role-based access control. So basically, you can have at my platform, you can do all this thing. You can not only the storing the remote repo, please mind it, not only you can store the remote repo, but on top of it, I will provide all the features also which you wanted for the enterprises. So what is a GitHub? So GitHub is a place for all the problems of Git in remote. So can we go ahead? Look at my screen, all of you. This is a GitHub. Anyone can register. Anyone can register and anyone can start creating a repo. Look at this. This is the website. You can sign in, sign up. I have an account, free account. Git is free for all of you. You can use it. I just use the user ID and password. Here it is. What do you want? What do you want? So I want to create a remote repo. Can we do that? Here, new. Okay, look at my screen. Test demo, the remote repo. See, earlier I did Git init, if you remember, but now I'm doing the same thing over the GitHub platform, GitHub cloud platform, but through GUI. That's all. There's no difference actually. I'm doing right now through the UI. Last time I did with the command line in my local repository. Give some description. Public and private. What is a public means? Public means anyone can see it, but only you can modify, only you can push, or the person whom you give access. Private means only you and your people whom you have given access will see it. Avoid this option right now. Create repository. That's all. So this is the, I told you there's a two method, right? Where you can do the push and pull. One is SSH, one is HTTP. Here you see here. SSH if you want to use it, password based. SSH if you want to use it, you have to use through the keys. HTTPS if you want to use it. That's all. Nothing great. It's like a platform where we can get host our remote repository. That's all. So now what do we do in this case? Nothing, just I'm going to push it. So here I'm going to use HTTPS password based. Look at my screen here in the local. Git push. Where you want to push? Here. Which branch you want to push? Master. Enter. It should prompt you because I have used HTTPS, right? It should prompt you for the username and password of GitHub. So provide this username and password. My username and password, I'm not going to tell you. It will prompt you one more time. You can automate all this process. And did it. See here, I pushed it. Now can we go here? Refresh. See, in my local, I have 3 files which I committed. You have 3 files. How many commits I did? Git log 1, 2, 3, and these are the IDs for it. You will see here. Look at these 3 commits. 1, 2, 3. These are the short IDs. You click on it, you'll get a long IDs. What was committed? You can see it. Everything is just a UI now. Okay. See it here. You can download, clone, also everything you can do through HTTPS, SSH. GitHub CLI is also available. Okay. Now, what you get here? Look at my screen. This is the team remotes repo. All of us are going to work here. What do we get here? So look at this. You get an issue. Issue means what? Here you can, if you have some bugs in the software here, you can create a ticket here. How do we create a ticket? Let me go there. Here it is, new issues. Homepage of DevOpsschool.com is not working. This is a title in detailed, assigned to someone. Right now I am the myself, and submit. See here, it's become a team place for issue management. What do you want? See wiki, you can write documents here. So go to the wiki. About the project, you can write a page. So home page, this is the home page, save it. You can add a new page, or here, DevOps school architecture document, and do whatever you want inside a content. You know that what should be there. Save it. And this, you have a wiki, wonderful wiki. What else you want? You want to give access, you want to do managing the access, right? Under the setting. So here you go under the setting. Here you can assign access to someone whom you want to. You see here, invite a collaborator. So I can invite all of you. Your ID should be there with me. We can manage the team also. So where do we manage a team? So you have to go. This is an organization here, DevOps school. Okay, and DevOps school is the organizations. Click on it, and here you can create, teams. So how do we do that? So let me select another organization. So this is the older one. That's the reason you are not able to see. But let me show you another organizations. I have a multiple organizations created. See here. So these are the repo which we have. These are the teams you can create. See, I have one team, admin team. You can create a more team here. Let's say dev team. And created a team. Now in this dev team, you can add so many people here. Okay. So many people you can invite. Let's say my ID is Rajesh Kumar in India. This is my ID. So I get invitation, I will have to accept it. Okay, you see pending members right now, one pending member. Now this is the team, right? Dev team. Let me go back to the organization. This is the team. Here we have dev team. Now you can add as many people in the dev team. And if you want to give access to some repository, let's say Python sample programs, this repository, go to setting, manage access. And here you add dev team, right? Here it is. Read access, try, write access, all this thing. Done. So now you can get role-based access also, which is you wanted, right? So you wanted what? GUI, you got it? Okay. Issue management, do you got it? Okay. Right? Wiki, you got it? Okay. Can you manage the multiple repo? You see here, this is one organization and so many repos you have. All these are repos. Correct? As many repos you can create. Remote repo. Okay. Role-based access, can you create teams and give the specific access to the each people? Okay. So now what do we do? GitHub is a platform now for all of our work. Simple. Did you understand, all of you guys? All of you? Okay. So guys, what we are going to do, how can we work together? So I have to behave like a two-person. Okay. Now I have to behave like a two-person. So let's get started. This is the first one. Okay. This is the first one. And I'm going to behave as the second one also. So go to this directory. Look at my screen very carefully. I'm behaving like a two-person. Okay. How do we work? So right now, this is a repo which I'm going to clone it. So if I'm a different person, I'm going to clone it. Okay, see here. This is another person. Right now I'm another person. So I clone it. Clone it means what? Clone means clone, simple. Clone means clone. Clone means everything, files and database, meta information, a repository. You get it, everything. So right now I have one repository for the first person. Test demo is for the second person. I have to behave two-person. So I'll just do this. This is the one person. This is second person. Okay. And cd test demo. Okay. Okay. So now what do we do in this case? So now let's say I'm behaving like a second person. How many files you have? File 1, 2, 3. Can we add? So here touch quick file I'm adding just for the demo and faking. File 4.txt, file 5.txt. I created few fake code. What do we do? Git add -- all. Simple. Now you understand that all means all. What is add is doing? You understand that. I commit, git commit all, another user. I commit it. What I'll do? Git push. Now whole URL. But you know what, guys? This URL I'm going to paste now, but in the clone there is one advantage. Understand that. I can copy paste the URL also, but in the clone there is an advantage. Which advantage? So the clone you have advantage, like the URL will be creating aliases with the name called origin. Okay. So many places you see origin. What does that mean? That means it's alias. It's a shortcut for what? URL. So instead of embedding the URL, you can use this name. This shortcut automatically get created when you clone it. Okay. So this shortcut automatically get created when you clone it. So here git push origin. What? Which branch? Master. What is a branch? How it works and all stuff like that we're going to discuss later. But yeah, by default we work in the branch called master. What is branch? Why do we need it? All this thing, how to create it, how to branching, how to merging, all these things are different topic. But right now we're going to push it. So origin means what? URL shortcut. We call it in Git aliases. Okay, so pushed it. Remember, I pushed to the GitHub remote repo. Now it will ask me the password. School. And one more time it will ask you. Done. See guys, user 2 has committed, did his coding, and he added, he commit and pushed it. See, push. Can we go and check here? Refresh. You got it. Here, see, file 4 and file 5. It's so simple. Now user 1 is not having these two files. User 1, you see here, file 4 and file 5 is not here. So what he's going to do? He's going to pull it. So git pull now URL. But you know what? I should create aliases here also, because remember, I did not call this clone this first repo. So I have to create aliases manually. How do we do that? So remote add origin. This command to create aliases. If you do not have here. So what will happen? I'm asking, hey, add the aliases, which is called origin, remote aliases of this URL. So I added it. Now I can pull it. Origin, master. See here, how do you do that? And now you have 5. So now you see that, how can you do that? Write a code, add, commit, and push. Pull, write a code, add, commit, and push. So this is the whole flow. You have to work with it, and your GitHub will become a remote repo. Remember, I said remote repo. And here we all can work together. Now, one thing you can call it. See here, guys. You should not call Git server. Okay, you should not call Git server, but you can call GitHub server. That is okay. But Git you should not call. You should never call Git. Why? Because Git, we do not have a server concept. You can call it a GitHub. It's a different tool. It's a platform which is providing different functionality than Git. Git is for the versioning, and GitHub is for the hosting the remote repo with many other features. Okay, so now I hope you have understood the difference between Git and GitHub and how can we all work together as a team. I hope. Okay, so there's some questions in the chat window. Let me address those. So there's one question from Meera. Sir, why we still using Git when GitHub? I said, right, Meera, remember, Git is for the versioning and GitHub is for the hosting the remote repo and collaborations. So GitHub is not providing a versioning functionality. Remember, it's a hosting platform where you can host remote repo for the entire team with so many features. So I hope you.
To watch our complete session, enroll for our premium membership. Click onto the join button and enroll yourself with the best suited option.
You are able to recall those discussions. You can see my screen. Git has a problem which is solved by GitHub. So GitHub is a different tool. Git is a different tool. Use cases are different. You cannot version using GitHub. You can version using Git. Are you understanding, Mira? Yeah, there is one question from Dukshyam. Can't we use just GitHub for editing a code? Yes, you can use directly GitHub to modify the code. For example, I'm doing it in front of you. I access this code, edit this code, and writing this is my code. I can do it very well. But tell me, how many of you have been writing this code over the online? You write a code locally. See, you can write a code here, but how do you compile this code? Think simple. You can write a code, that's not a problem, but how do you compile? How do you validate this code? You can do it here, but not here. Because you, before committing, you should validate the code as well, right? You're not going to commit the code before validating it. Just not else the code will be messed up, right? So understand that way. Okay, this is some question from Q&A session. Okay, Abhishek Sharma is asking why it's asking 2 times. Usually it will be stored in your Windows pass credential manager, so it will not ask you any time after the first time. But what has happened, I have some setup enabled, so it is asking for me. But for you, if you have not customized your environment, it will be stored in the Windows credential manager first time, and after that you can reuse it without any problem. But if you want to avoid it, this password, you can use SSH, key-based authentication. That way you have to generate your private and public key. Public key you have to go and store in the GitHub. So let me show you that process also. Let's say SSH, right? So go to the command line and go to the location which is your user home and cd SSH. And inside it, you have to generate a code. I have in my already code. This is a public key. This is a private key. How do you generate this new key if you don't have it? SSH-keygen. And enter, keep entering till you get a code. I'm not running it because I don't want to replace my public and private key. So SSH-keygen. After that, you get these 2 files. Okay, you can generate as many public and private key, which you, if you need it. But right now, these 2 files, you get it. This public key, you are going to store in your profile setting, SSH key, and here. So you can see SSH key. I have a 2 key already uploaded. One of is a laptop and one is some other server. So new key, you can upload it here and paste this key. Okay. So once you do that, after that, what you can do, you can use SSH path, not HTTP. After that, you can see here, look at my screen here. You can use SSH. This is the path. So you won't be asked for the password anymore. SSH is based on the keys. HTTPS based on the username and password of GitHub. Okay, so anyways which you want to use it, you can use it. For the demo, I just showed you HTTPS because it will be user friendly for you. Let me read few more questions. Just open up a file, okay, and edit. There's one edit button. Again, if you you will have a recordings for this session. You can go in offline also, but so many functionalities are there actually. So many functionality. You see here, jump to, you can jump to any files. You can go to files. You can see go to line, definition, copy path, raw file, blame, view in the different GitHub desktop, edit, delete this file. So many things you can do that. So edit will edit. Now the question is, how do we create a directory structure on Git? I mean, this using UI. So you know that how to create a directory structure in local and add and commit. For example, let me do that right now. So here, clear the screen. There's only file. So I'm going to create a directory, src. I'm going to fill some dummy file inside it, src code1.txt. Look at my screen, git status, git add dot git status. You see here, all these commands you know that now by now. Git commit, adding a directory, and git push origin. Origin is alias, remember, master. I just did it. So this is the way you can add directories and file. Again, it's asking the password. I'm not expecting this. Okay, so why this why this got failed? Because I'm pushing it without pulling it. That means it says this is a sort of error. It says push is rejected. Why? Because in the remote at the GitHub, you do have some new changes. Remember, I did the push from the different user. So first you have to pull it. That's a good practice. Pull it all the time before pushing it. That way you get other changes also. So I'm pulling it. I just pulled it. And after that, I'm going to push it. It says this is the editor. It says why you want to push it, pull it. I just saved it, done, push it. It's always asking the password. And did this. So this is how you can work with a directory. See here. Now let's say if you want to create a directories directly here, I'll teach you one trick. Create a new file, type src and / and some fake file name, whichever you want. This is the file name. So that way you can play with the directory here also. So here I created through GitHub. Didn't it created? Wait a second. I think it didn't create it. Let me do that. Add new file, src1, because that file was that path was already existed, so it did not create it. I created now, and here it is. Now you see src1, src I committed through command line and pushed it, and src1 I created through GUI. So this is the one. Yeah, so there's one question from Ashutosh. Does not GitHub desktop offer many of the same functionality? Is there an advantage of you using CLI, either of CLI or GitHub desktop? See here, there are many tools are available. For example, I showed you the demo of Git Bash, or you can use the Windows command line, or you can use a GitHub desktop, or you can use a source tree, you can use a Visual Studio Code and plug in with Git plugin. You can use any tools actually, and all these tools more or less will help you for the same work which I have explained it to you here. Add, commit, push, pull, add, commit, push, pull. That's all. Add, write a code, add, commit, push, pull. So all the tools will do the same thing for you. It's just like which one you are using for your daily work. I feel GitHub, Git Bash is comfortable, is very popular. if you are coding day and night, if you are spending on the Visual Studio Code, you should use Visual Studio Code. It depends on what kind of environment and what kind of work you are doing it. My preference is, if you are doing a coding, you should use the inbuilt plugin of Visual Studio Code. If you want to learn the behaviors of it, Git, because it's the starting point for you. So Git Bash is the best one, because once you learn, then you can use any other tools also. Make sense? Okay, I'm going to read some chat box. Yeah. Any questions, guys? Yeah. Okay, so now we'll spend some time over the Q&A session. Okay, so feel free to ask any questions if you have, and I'll help you with that. Yeah, so about the campus program, I think Sumit will take over in 5 to 10 minutes after me, and he will answer all this question. Sumit, are you in this call right now?
Yes, Rajesh.
Yeah, so we'll take up those questions after 5 to 10 minutes. But before that, any questions related to Git, GitHub, and stuff like that, I would like to answer. Okay, guys. So now I'm going to talk about the last topic, which is little different. But this demo will basically help you all to host all of your personal websites. Yes, all of your personal websites. Yeah. So do you want to host your personal websites? Static website I'm talking about right now, free of cost at the GitHub platform. Let's say you have created your CV. If you want to impress your interviewer community, you want to create your web CV, some HTML CVs you want to create it, or maybe PDF you want to embed in HTML and you want to display to the whole world, or if you want to send it to the different people. Or maybe if you're doing a blogging, right? Here you saw you can write a code directly, and you can write a blogs also, right? So you want to write a blog and you want to share with the whole world. So how do we do that? So for that, guys, I am going to show you how can you do that. So this is the repository, which is the remote repository. What I'm going to do is, look at my screen, all of you. Look at my screen, all of you. Clear the screen. I am going to write some code, HTML code. Okay. So first HTML code should be, that index.html, correct? That's the first file you need to have it, index.html. Now this file, I'm going to insert some dummy HTML code for just to display you the things. So how do we write a HTML code? That all of you are comfortable. Okay, title, welcome to Git and GitHub session. Close title, close head, body, and H1, welcome to Git and GitHub session by H2 by Rajesh Kumar. H2, you all my website colon www.rajeshkumar.xyz. Okay, you can write much more than that. You know that very well. It's just for the demo. HTML. That's all. So this is my website. This is the code. You can write a better code. And I want to share with you all. So how do we do that? So for that, I am going to git add. I think you know all this command by now. Git commit. Adding my website. Git push origin is alias master. DevOps school. DevOps school. Enter the password. That's bad. Same issue because I had modified some files online, right? So I have to pull it first. And push it one more time. Pull is important. It's a good practice. DevOps school. DevOps school. Password. And guys, I just pushed it my website. The first, you know how to write a code and all better website. You can write, you can use a Bootstrap, Laravel and all stuff like that. Easy website development tool. And here I have index.html. Now, how can we convert this whole stuff as a website? So guys, look, follow me here. You have to go to the setting. Okay. And in the setting underneath, you have so many options, so many features you have. But right now I'm going to pages. Yes, I repeat, any website you can convert into the web, any remote GitHub remote repository, you can convert to the website. Click on the pages. And now you can select, you can do a hell lot of things here also, but right now I'm not complicating it. Source, which branch, master, which file, root file or doc file, whatever it is, a root file, and save it. That's all. Your website is ready. So it will call index.html at this place. So can we go and log in? Still it's not coming. It takes few seconds of time to load it. Let me see that if you have a index.html or not. And if you see here, index.html is here. So I think it should be loading in a few seconds. It's called the full path. It takes some time, DNS entries. Here it is. So now guys, whole world, now you can just see that. Like that, you can create your website. You can keep your CVs. You can keep your tutorials. You can keep your blogs. You can keep all of your knowledge. So why to store all of your notes, knowledge, blogs, ebooks in your laptop? Why to do that? Store it here. Make it your website and share with the whole world. Share with me also. Right? So guys, this is the way you can use Git. So primarily Git is for the versioning. GitHub is for sharing your work with the whole world and with your team and work together and then get going. Okay. So, okay, so I'm going to spend 3 more minutes to answer all of your questions related to Git and GitHub. Anyone who's having a questions related to the campus program or GitHub programs and all, I think Sumit will be answering those questions in some time. But before me coming out of this mode, anyone have any questions related to GitHub? Okay, let me see that Q&A. Okay, so there's one question is, can't we skip the multiple sign up prompt when we push? Yes, yes, that you can. Usually by default, it will be stored in the Windows credential manager. But what is happening for me is like, because I'm working with a multiple organization and multiple GitHub account, and sometime I have a 5-6 GitHub account. So for that, I don't want to store in the Windows credential. So I have disabled those options. So for me, it's prompting me, but for you, you have to store it once, and then after that, you can reuse it multiple times. Okay, so there's one question from Rishabh: comparison of Git with other coding language. Remember, Git is not a language. It's not a coding language. Git is a tool to store your code. So there's no comparison. There should not be any comparison. It's a tool for storing your version of the code. Amir Sheikh is asking, is this website accessing on Google? Yes, see, Google will access those websites if you inform Google. So how do you do that? So you have to publish this URL, the one which I have shared. Let's say my URL, let's say my website is something like, let me show you some of the website of mine. So just a second, I'll share with you some of the website of mine which I have published on the GitHub. And those are, these are the one. Okay, so these are my website here. And just a second. There's one more. Just a second, guys. Yeah. So these are my website now. So let's say this website which I have hosted is at, see here, look at this, it's on GitHub. Now this website is hosted. Now whether this is coming to the Google or not, I need to check. So just copy this. They need to cache my website, and there's so many ways which is available, SEO ways which is available. And see here, it's coming. So depends on that. See, these all are coming here. So you can use that. Okay, so I think I'm going to transfer the sessions control now to Sumit, and he's going to answer all of your questions. So guys, thank you very much for attending this session. And again, if you want to reach out to me, all the social information, you can find it at a place which is here, www.rajeshkumar.xyz. And you can connect me over the social networks like LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that. Though nowadays I'm not doing tweeting much, but yeah, LinkedIn I'm active. So yep, keep learning. Again, if you want any tutorials or something like that, where you want to learn programming languages, Git, Docker, Kubernetes, Ansible, Chef, Maven, Gradle, any languages which you want to, if you want to learn, you can check out my channel, which is YouTube, The DevOps School. Okay. So all of my videos, I stored it over there. It's accessible to everyone, free of cost, no problem, no charges applicable. So here, this is the channel where you can get all of my videos for different technologies, and you can learn and then grow and then see how it will help you. Okay, so Sumit, are you going to take it further from here?
Yes, Rajesh.
Yeah.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.